Hi everybody, this is just Martin91, and today I'm here to talk to you guys about Fast 10, the latest entry in the Fast franchise. And this one, okay, I'm not going to say it was good because frankly, it's its own thing, and it honors that. And it's better than the ninth, so at the end of the day, it knows what it is, and it plays into it, and it's enjoyable. If you've seen the trailers, you've basically seen the movie. It's one of those things where the plot is pretty simple, and all it has going for it more or less are action set pieces. And I guess what else is the trailer supposed to market? Aside from the three massive stunts that are in the movie, one of them didn't make it in the trailer. And I mean, I was surprised at two of them that already were in it, and I just felt a little bit whatever. So I went to see it in 40x actually, and let me tell you, it's one of the most memorable 40x experiences I've ever had. If you haven't tried 40x, it is very much a gimmicky experience. It is basically um, moving chairs with environmental effects, water, air, all that nice stuff, basically blasted in your face, and you not recommended if you're prone to motion sickness. It is very much one of those things where if you get into a car and you're racing, you're taking advantage of the format. There are movies that don't serve well for it, but this, I'd say, is one of those movies that really takes advantage of the mechanics. Either way, if you're going there to have fun, go and see it. If you've seen the other ones and you've enjoyed them, go and see it. If you haven't, I wouldn't say this is the first entry to introduce yourself in. In fact, I think I think the franchise has been overstaying its welcome just a little bit. That being said, it did manage to surprise me, this one. And I'm not saying it's the best film of all time. I'm not even going to say it's the best film of the summer. I mean, first of all, the summer is still young, and in the couple months prior to this, I've already seen a handful of films that, frankly, I enjoyed more as they were more designed. I mean, if I could just name a couple, like Dungeons and Dragons, John Wick, and Guardians of the Galaxy were absolutely amazing. When we come to the blockbusters, I mean, it's a whole other demographic if we're not talking about blockbusters. But at the end of the day, this film tries to bank on one of the best entries in the franchise, which was Fast Five, which really was the one that crossed the line of um, heist. So that was the first one that really brought the heist element into this franchise. Until then, it was cars, cartels, and all this other stuff. And up until Fast and Furious 4, that's mainly what it was. Tokyo Drift was another story altogether. But 5 really made a statement, and I guess everyone hails the 5th. So they were like, oh, landmark movie, the 10th movie, let's make it a spiritual sequel. Well, you know what? I mean, I'll give you this. Your villain, Jason Momoa, did have a motive. He was very much a caricature villain, like very over exaggerated, but he was enjoyable, and you understood where he was coming from. He had a reason to do what he was doing. It wasn't just like, oh, I just came across this family and I don't know where the hell they've been all this time, but now I want revenge. I'm like, no, he's been. I don't know why he waited this long. I'll say this much. The guy waited. The guy waited 12 years to exact his revenge, and haven't aged a day, and he hasn't changed his style. He's exactly the same looking guy. But honestly, there's a couple things when it comes to this film that I was very surprised about. Honestly, I'm not even going to look at canonic and chronology when you're going to convince me as a fan or a moviegoer, I'll say that Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift takes place chronologically after Fast 6, which came out in 2013. And might I remind you, Fast and Furious 3 came out in 2006. If you want to actually tell me that this was planned out, because that's what Vin Diesel keeps saying, we always had this plan. And I'm like, okay, cool. But if you're going to make a third installment kind of be a sequel to further installments down the line, you may not want to emphasize the fact that people are filming on their flip phones, all right, in 2006, on their freaking Nokias. When in the last movie, this fucking Jason Statham picks up a smartphone and basically threatens Dominic Toretto, and then does what? Kills the guy who's swerving around with a Nokia flip phone. Like, I don't know. Like, again, don't read too much into it. Don't overanalyze it. It's pointless. I mean, for me, I did get hung up on one thing. I watched Fast 9 once more right before I watched this film, and the ending credits scene was Han going up to Jason Statham, and they really wanted to incorporate that scene here. That's basically why Jason Statham was in this movie. He was in the post-credits scene, so we have to bring him back. I mean, there was no plan. There was no plan. And if there was, it was the most simmering thing that it's weak. It's yeah. So in that post-credit scene, it's one of the only times when Han basically has this very cropped, short haircut, aside from his signature long hair. And this one literally mimics the same scene from that post-credit scene in Fast 9, but his look completely changed. And otherwise, let's act like everything is exactly the same in that sequence. Aside from that, let's line up everything else because it needs to make sense. But just a look, I mean, that doesn't matter, right? Anyways, the cars, the stunts, Vin Diesel really tries to steal the show, but it's not his movie in the regards that I was more, and I think most of us were more entertained by Jason Momoa. It's kind of weird that we're just getting off of Guardians of the Galaxy right now, and we had a maniacal villain in that, had a great motive, had all that. Technically, we have that here. As I said, he has motive, he has everything, but somehow the execution is just not the same. But you're having fun with the role, and what else can you expect? The ninth entry was extremely meta. If I told you, and if someone told me that that was the last installment, I would have totally believed it. They're self-aware. They're poking fun at themselves. They're basically taking every element to remind you that this is a ridiculous concept, that this is absolutely bonkers. And this movie tries to dial that down in the respect that they want to make it more grounded. We're not going to space this time. We're not making magnetic cars. We're not doing all that. But at the same time, we're throwing bombs down the streets of Rome that roll for God knows how long and doesn't, blow up and have so like cars and people try to prevent it from. It's just a mess. Now, did I have fun with it? Yes, I did. Would I say anyone could have fun with it? Sure, but I don't know. I don't know if I want to say this. I don't know if I want to say this. I don't know if it's worth going to the theaters for. And I'm the kind of person who pushes this thing, but it's just, if you're into the franchise, go see it. If you're not, this is not Furious 7. This is not an event film. This is not a legacy film. This is not. It's a sequel, a pretty subpar sequel to a subpar franchise. It is the most entertaining of recent, but that doesn't say much when it comes to the lineup that we have here. So if you want to go out and enjoy yourself, it's completely up to you. There's going to be plenty of things playing in the theaters, actually still playing and coming up, and we have Fast 10. It's going to be a very competitive summer. It's going to be absolutely insane, and here's hoping that Fast 11 and 12, I guess, are going to be the ones that are going to close out this franchise. But cliffhangers, albeit. See it for yourself. Have a good one, guys. And the hierarchy of power is back. Have a good one.